everybody, I'm Jiao. We are students from UTeM. Now we are going to have a discussion about the processor. Let's introduce our members.
Hi, I'm Jantong.
Hello, I'm Jianhui.
I'm Shinbi.
I'm Wanbing.
Okay, now I'll briefly describe about the processor. The processor is a short alternative name of microprocessor where we call as CPU, Central Processing Unit. CPU is the brain of a computer that controls the computer. It's the part in the computer system that was responsible to interpret and execute most of the commands from the computer programs. It performs data processing operations such as the arithmetic or the logic operations, data manipulation tasks, logical and inputs of data. Processor only understands the instruction that will follow the programs. It is the most important part of a computer.
Then what is the difference between the good processor and bad processor?
Okay, the difference between the good processor and the bad processor is they can be varied to their speed, performance, graphics, and multitasking abilities. Since processor can get heat very easily, so it always designed with a heatsink attaching to the heatsink and the fan in order to disperse heat from it.
Can anyone describe more details on how the computer will follow the instruction of the programs?
Let me explain. Imagine when you double click on icon of desktop, a program will be run. A program is a series of order instructions that allow computer to do specific tasks. First, the program that stored in hard disk drive is transferred to the RAM memory. Then, RAM will store info about the running program. The CPU will load the program data from RAM by using the memory controller. Now, the program data processed inside a CPU. After that, the CPU will follow the instruction of the program to continue loading and executing data.
Can you explain briefly about how the processor works?
Okay, let's start from this MIPS code. This MIPS code is an assembly language which is a result after it compiled from the C++ language, which is a high-level language. Then, the MIPS code will be converted into the machine language. Here, the machine language is the binary code, which is understandable by the computer system, so that further process can be carried on later. Okay, any additional questions until here?
I see your points there, but I have a question. I would like to know what are the processes that the processor carry out and how.
Okay, good question. Now let's go back to the MIPS code. As we know, the computer system only can understand 1 and 0. That is the binary code. This MIPS code contains commands to be executed by the computer. And the sequence for the CPU to interpret and execute a command will be: first, fetch the command. Here, it will read the whole line of the MIPS code, the instruction and the data. Then, goes to the interpretation of the command. That is, the CPU will decode these two values. These two values decode. After that is the execution of the process. Here we will see what is the instruction set. Let's say we got add. So an addition will be performed on a register S1 and register S2. Next, if there is any words to be recorded or to be stored, it will go to the data memory. Here we call the memory access. However, if no words to be stored into the data memory, it will go directly to the multiplexer. Finally, from the multiplexer, it will go back to the registers and store in the registers. This is where, after the process, the data and write it out from here. That is write data.
Now let's discuss about the processor register. In computer architecture, every processor has a local storage area known as a register that performs most of the operation that the processor cannot perform directly. Any kind of data must be identified by the register before it can manipulate by the processor. Processor registers are normally made of static and dynamic random access memories.
So what is the difference between dynamic and static RAM?
Let me explain. Static RAM offers faster access to data than dynamic RAM. Processor registers are at high level of memory hierarchy. What is hierarchy? Hierarchy is a structure that uses multiple levels of memories. At high level of the hierarchy, memory is fast access to data and high-speed storage space. Now I will explain about register organization. The processor register has two rules. They are user visible register and control and status register.
So can you explain the roles register in the processor?
Okay. For the user visible register, it enables the machine or assembly language programmer to minimize memory by optimizing use of registers, whereas control and status register is used by the processor to control the operation of the processor and by periodic or routine to control the execution of the programs. Next, we'll be talking about the categories of the registers. A processor contains several types of registers, that is, the address register, data register, and the conditional registers.
Can you briefly explain the types of register that you mentioned just now?
Okay, I will explain about the type of register. The first, address register. Address register contains main memory address of data and instruction, and used to store the address of other register and different memory location. The second, data register. Data register can be assigned to a variety of functions by the programmer and used to store intermediate data, values, and results when any arithmetic operation is performed. Lastly, conditional register. Conditional register holds truth value often used to determine whether some instruction should or should not be executed.
Okay, that's all. Let's move on to the next subtopic.